First of all, file information. For the simple present tense, we are moving with Einstein to the Tenses Hotel. What to know and understand before teaching tenses. In this case, we start with the simple present tense. Note to the educator: these concepts must be practiced in class using easy example sentences to be sure learners understand them before teaching the tenses. If your learners do not understand each of the following concepts, do not start teaching tenses. Here follows a summary of what the following words mean. Teach these properly in your class. Subject: who or what the tense is about. Who is doing something. Singular subject: one person, one animal, one thing. The dog, a girl, he, she, it. Plural subject: more than one person, animal, or thing. The dogs, two girls, they and we. A verb is an action word or a being word. Pay attention, it's not always an action. Action words: run, eat, jump, they finite verbs. Being words: am, is, are, was, and were, linking verbs. I am 10. Simple means easy to understand, not silly. Present means now, every day, or often. Now can be confusing. Example: I am present in class. I am in class now. But most of the actions you are busy with now at the moment are in the present continuous tense. That is why we explain simple present tense with the definition that it's a statement, and we do not focus on today or now as time words. Tense means time. When is it happening? A statement gives information. It tells us something. Verb columns. There are 3 verb columns in English. Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. Verb 1, the base form of the verb. Verb 2, irregular verbs. You will find in the verb 1, 2, 3 column. That is the most common. And there's also the regular verbs where you add the ed and you use it for past tense. Verb 3 are used for perfect tenses. That is the 3rd column. Foundation phase teachers, please don't be overwhelmed by tenses. We know that in grade 1, 2, and 3, we often teach children many sentences in the simple present tense. Then, when we introduce the simple past tense, we ask learners to rewrite those sentences into the past. Later, we introduce the simple future tense. But there are 3 very important things I want you to remember. Be specific about the name of the tense. If we simply tell children that they are learning the present, past, and future tense, we can create confusion. In foundation phase, learners should understand that they are learning simple present tense, simple past tense, and simple future tense. Why is it this important? Because when learners are older, we introduce the continuous tenses. They need to understand where each tense belongs. If we only taught them present tense, they might ask, but isn't the continuous tense also present tense? Yes, it is. That is why we need to establish the correct terminology from the beginning. The second point, remember that there are 2 names for the simple present tense. The simple present tense is also called the present indefinite tense. There are 2 names for the same tense. As learners move into higher grades, they may encounter the term indefinite, so don't let the terminology confuse them. From the beginning, remind them simple present tense, present indefinite tense are equals. The same principle applies when they encounter different terminology as they progress through school. We want learners to recognize that they are talking about the same grammatical concept. Don't the third point to remember. Don't teach only the application. Teach the why. This is where you might feel completely overwhelmed when you watch this video, and I understand why. The problem is that we have often taught tenses by focusing on the application. We give learners a sentence, the boy wants a ball. Then we ask them to change it into the past, the boy wanted a ball. And then we move on. But why did want become wanted? And what happens when the verb is go, or do, or wash? As soon as our little boy is dressed in his simple clothes, we need to explain the verb and then move to the background of the house where we apply the spelling rules. This is where the real learning takes place. For example, in the simple present tense, we cannot simply tell foundation phase learners just add s or es. It isn't always that simple. Look at play, only add s. Wash, es. Go, es. Do, es. If we use wash, learners need to know why we add the es. The same for go and do. And this is exactly where we need to stop and say, we haven't taught you this rule yet, so how can we expect you to apply it? Don't overwhelm the children. We don't necessarily have to teach every rule in grade 1. Foundation phase teachers can work together and decide which rules will we teach in grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. There must be a plan, otherwise, all the rules need to be covered in grade 1 if your intention is to test all the rules in the worksheets. Once you decided, you cannot suddenly test learners on something they haven't been taught. For example, if you want learners to apply the spelling rule for do and need to change it to does if the subject is singular, you need to make sure that they have been taught the relevant rules first. Otherwise, they start guessing. They need to know, what tense am I reading? What tense am I writing? What tense am I communicating? And why does the verb change? Start in grade 1 and keep coming back to it. This is why we strongly believe that this lesson should not be taught once and then forgotten. We need to revisit it every year from grade 1 right through to grade 10. The level of understanding becomes deeper as the learner becomes older. Start small, then build. Don't overwhelm. Give learners opportunities to see it, hear it, build it, practice it, and explain it. Think about Bloom's taxonomy. You can watch our video on YouTube. Before learners can successfully apply knowledge, they first need to remember and understand. But what are we doing in our classrooms? Apply, apply, apply. Worksheet, worksheet, worksheet. Let's dive into simple present tense and see how easy time can make simple present tense. Welcome to simple present tense. Einstein travels on the road map toward the hotel. He's not in a rush. He observes everything step by step. Einstein meets simple present tense at the hotel. The boy travels on the bike to the first destination, our house. What is simple present tense? In Afrikaans it means teenwoordige tyd. This is the most commonly used tense. Simple present tense. We use this tense when we talk about what happens regularly. It is simply a statement that gives information or tells something. The word simple means easy to understand. The word present means now, everyday, often. The word tense means time. When is it happening? For example, I am present in class means I am in class now. But the time word now can be confusing. When we are busy with an action at the moment, we usually use the continuous tense. Example, I am running. She is sitting at her desk. It means at the moment. The verbs use ing, which means the sentence is in the continuous tense. You have moved into another tense. That is why you need to be careful not to teach children simple present tense is today, now, because most of those sentences will be in the continuous tense. For simple present tense, it is a statement. Simple present tense. We are going to dress the boy using 4 simple steps. Step 1, his watch. Step 2, the red t-shirt and shorts. Step 3, verb 1 hat. Step 4, the snake. Step 1, we put the boy's watch on to show that this tense is just a statement. For example, I wake up early for school. The sun rises in the east. The moon shines at night. Step 2. Remember, red represents the present tense. For the simple present tense, we dress the boy in a simple red t-shirt and shorts. Step 3. The boy wears his verb 1 hat to show that the base form of the verb is used in this tense. Remember verb 1, 2, and 3 columns. Step 4. This is the only tense that uses the snake. Educators, for singular subjects, you use a singular verb. That means you add the S to the verb. For example, he kicks the ball. He, the subject, is singular. Verb kick, add the snake. Plural subjects use a plural verb, no S. For example, they kick the ball. They plural, kick, no S. Remember, for simple present tense, there are two options. Adding an S to a verb. The one is just the S, and the other option is ES. If we are dealing with spelling of words, it's always important to know what the base word or the root word is. For example, play is the root word. Plays, we add the suffix s. The same for eat and eats. But you also see that for do and wash, we did not use option 1, the s. We added es to does and washes. That is option 2. So it is always or the S or the ES. The simple present tense boy visits home. There are 9 rules to follow when we do simple present tense. Do not teach learners to just add an S to the verb. There are spelling rules to help learners so that they do not struggle in higher grades. Rule 1 to 4 are in green. These rules are about the subject. They will help you know when to use the S and when not. Rule 1. Teach this with body movements. This helps to retain the information much quicker. The boy stands on the step represents I. The rhyme and the rule and rhyme for the subject I, big and strong. No S. The movement is as follows. Learners point to themselves with their thumbs and say, I, as they show their muscle with their arms and say, big and strong, and then shake their heads and fingers and say, no S. I, big and strong, no S. Rule 2. The 2 boys upstairs represents the subject you. We do not know if we mean one or more than one. Therefore, you can be a singular or plural subject. Always use it as plural and never add an S to the verb. The rule and rhyme is you, we don't know. No S. The movement, point to the others and say you. Then shrug your shoulders and say, we don't know. No S. Rule 3. The apple tree on the left side has many apples. This tree represents plurals. That means more than one. Plural subjects do not need an S to the verb. You do not need the snake to help you with the S. Rule number 4. The apple tree on the right has only one apple. This tree represents the singular, that means only one. Singular subjects do need the snake, and that is why the snake is so close to this tree. Therefore, the S is added to the verbs. Let us summarize the 4 subject rules: when to add the S and when not to. Rule number 1. I, big and strong, no S. 2. You, we don't know, no S. 3. Plurals. If there is more than one, no S. 4. Singular. Always add an S. If you are alone, you need the snake to help you. This poster covers what we have just explained with the 4 subject rules that are colored in green. The following 5 rules are the different spelling rules. They are colored in light red. These rules show clearly why it is important to teach this to prevent learners from simple adding an S to the verbs. Rule 5. Tom plays outside. If the verb ends on a vowel plus a Y, it equals S. You add an S. Vowel plus Y equals S. The key focus here is the vowel before the Y. This spelling rule also applies to the spelling of plurals. Spend time teaching these rules. Rule 6. Mary rides her bike. This is the easiest rule. The verb already ends on an E, therefore just add S. E equals S. Susan splashes the water. If a verb ends on a ch, sh, s, ks, z, add es to the verb. If learners are taught just to add an s to verbs, they will keep getting this spelling rule wrong. This rule also applies to plurals, so spend time on these rules. Rule number 8. Peter flies his kite. If the base verb, example fly, ends on a consonant plus a Y, do not just add an S. Replace the Y with an I and then add ES. Rules 7, 8, and 9 are the tricky rules for learners. To help them retain this information, consistently repeat these rules. Rule 9. Pat does her homework in the garden. The verbs do and go need an ES and not just an S when the word changes to does and goes. This is a common spelling error for lower grade learners. Teach this rule explicitly. Let's recap the 5 rules for spelling. First, play. The boy plays with the ball. If it's a vowel plus Y, you add an S. The girl rides the bike. If a verb ends on an E, you can just add an S. If the girl splashes in the pool, if the verb ends on ch, sh, s, ks, z, you add the es suffix. If the boy flies the kite, it is a consonant plus a Y, so you take out the Y and replace it with IES. And the last rule, When the verb ends on an O, you add the ES, like in go and do. Pat does her homework in the garden. This is the summary poster of all the spelling rules that are taught. This is what the complete poster will look like once you have built all the rules that apply to the simple present tense. Make sure that learners can apply the correct picture to the correct rule. Practice these rules as often as possible to ensure the retaining of information. When learners understand these concepts, it will be easier for them to apply what they have learned when doing sentence exercises. The golden key to truly understanding tenses is concrete learning. Make sure that you get our tenses activity book from our online store. It covers tenses from grade 1 right through to grade 12 for only 750 Rand. It is an investment in your child's understanding of English that can help them confidently know which tense to use, when to use it, and why, without constantly feeling confused. Children need to build their understanding concretely, step by step, instead of simply rewriting sentences from one tense to another. They can physically work through the process, first putting the clothes on the boy, then moving him to the correct destination, and finally applying the rules of that particular tense at the specific time. This video and all related content are protected by copyright law.